What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Round 2 of Super Rugby has hit us, and what a weekend we witnessed last weekend. We saw some amazing performances from great rugby nations, or great provincial nations, but we also saw some shocking results here and there. We saw some foul play, we saw some skillful play, we saw players get injured out for 6 odd weeks, we saw players shine. This weekend, I hope to see no injuries and I hope to see quality rugby and less foul play. We've got a cracking lineup of games this weekend, and let's start it off with my boys, the Sharks. Sharks kick off, will head over to Dunedin to play the Highlanders, who kick off their Super Rugby campaign in what should be an absolutely interesting game. Sharks picked up a great victory last weekend, and I was very impressed and proud of the performance that they had to bring. As for the Highlanders, new game, new start. What could happen? We'll have to wait and see. Last time these guys played was in 2018, and the score was 38-12 to the Sharks. However, the Sharks have also won in 2016, where they played the Highlanders in Dunedin. So great 2 last stats for the Sharks. Hopefully they can keep the momentum up. But one thing's for sure, in a New Zealand squad, you can never write them off. You might be in the lead at half-time, but you could certainly lose it in the second half. But my prediction is Sharks to win. And I'm not saying my prediction because of Super Brew, but Sharks, I will go back my boykies. Next up, we have the Brumbies taking on the Melbourne Rebels. The Rebels show a lot of heart in their performances, but they did lose to the Sunwolves, and that was one of the shocking results that I remember witnessing, which stuffed up my Super Brew, which was on fire at one stage. Brumbies, on the other hand, picked up a solid win in their first game campaign, and therefore I go Brumbies to win that Australian derby. I just think they're going to be just that much stronger in that upcoming game. Awesome All Black encounter between the Chiefs and the Crusaders to look forward to on Saturday night in New Zealand, morning in South Africa. I think it's going to be an absolute cracker. The Chiefs and the Crusaders picked up both W's over the games, and I'm expecting big things from both teams, really, especially the Crusaders. But the Chiefs have Warren Gatland. He's going to be proud of that first result and will definitely want to take that confidence in going forward. However, the Crusaders are one of the most dominant teams in Super Rugby, and as much as I do want to see them lose so that another team can win this cup this year, I do, however, think that the Crusaders will beat the Chiefs. I hope I'm wrong for Warren Gatland's sake, but I just think Scott Robinson and his boys are just a little bit too strong. But who knows? Anything can happen. So Crusaders to pick up that victory. Later on in the morning, we got the Waratahs taking on the Blues. 2 of my favourite overseas teams. I support the Waratahs in Australia and I support the Blues in New Zealand. Obviously, no Beauden Barrett. He's on hiatus for a bit, and I think he's back in April. Blues had a solid performance last week where they started off in a winning way, but then unfortunately lost it towards the end. I thought they could surprise us and pick up something great, but it wasn't the case for them. Waratahs, on the other hand, are also picked up a loss this past weekend and will be wanting to have redemption over that loss. They're at home and they're going to use that as a good confidence build to take them forward into this upcoming game. What I did like about the Blues is I saw a bit more of an attacking style game and a lot more strength shown. If they can use that in the motivation against a team like the Waratahs, they can definitely do it. However, I do feel the Waratahs are just a little bit stronger than the Blues, and therefore I predict Waratahs to win the game against the Blues. Then we got South Africa. We're back home, or my home. The Lions take on the Reds. Lions obviously losing this past weekend against the Jaguares in what was, I think, a lot of people maybe thought the Lions could have done it because it's one of South Africa's strongest teams, but credit to the Jaguares for the performance that they provided in their game, and respect to them. Lions will want to bounce back, especially being at Ellis Park, back from Argentina. Reds also picked up a loss last weekend, and they will also be wanting to redeem themselves from that game. As for the prediction, I feel that I'm going to stick with the home team, my home country and home team, and I reckon the Lions will just be a little bit better than the Reds, but it should be an intense classic. Then we got the Stormers taking on the Blue Bulls. Stormers thrashing the Hurricanes last weekend in what was probably one of the most shocking games I've witnessed in a very long time, especially from the Stormers. They played so much heart, skill, passion, determination, and even with the foul play from the Hurricanes on Sio Kolisi, they still managed to keep their head strong, go on forward, and play the game of rugby. Credit to the Stormers. Bulls, you got a tough one, my boykies, because you didn't have the greatest game last weekend, and you'll want to bounce back. Having said that, we're at Newlands. It's the final year at Newlands Stadium, and therefore I am sticking with the winning team, the Stormers. I just think they're a little bit too strong in this tournament at this stage. Final game of the weekend, we have the Jaguares taking on the Hurricanes. This should be another cracking game. You've got Hurricanes, who are a strong New Zealand team, although you wouldn't have said that last week after the performance that they provided us with. But anything can happen. They will be hurting. They will want to bounce back. Jaguars picked up a good victory over the Lions, and they too will want to continue the momentum. It is not easy beating the Jaguars at Buenos Aires. So for me, it's a tough game for the Hurricanes, and therefore I am picking the Jaguars to win this game. Not going to say the score though, but it should be an interesting encounter. That's going to do for the predictions for the Super Rugby contest. Should be an absolutely incredible week of entertaining rugby, and I look forward to seeing what these teams can do. Brumbies top the Australian log, Crusaders top the New Zealand conference, and the Jaguars, tied with the Stormers, top the South African conference. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon for another one. Stay safe and never give up. Cheers.